Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to San Francisco City Hall. So I want to thank everyone for being here on today, this lovely Valentine's Day. And we really have an important message we want to share with everyone. And that is that on this Valentine's Day, we want to make sure that everyone feels loved and included here in San Francisco. And by that, we need to make sure that we provide housing for everyone who wants to live, stay, and work here for generations to come. So today we're joined by so many people that my colleague Supervisor Safai will acknowledge in a moment. But next I do want to bring up our mayor of the city, who has been working in partnership with us to make sure that our housing policies enable future generations to be able to continue living here in San Francisco. So with that, Mayor Lee.
Thank you, Katy. Thank you, Supervisor Safai, for joining on this Valentine's Day rally for housing. Yeah. Got a lot of love in the house. Got all of our labor leaders here. They're showing their love. They love building. They love living in the city, too. And we have all of our residents who say to us, we need more housing for everybody. And so this is a time to make bold announcements. When the Board of Supervisors and the mayor's office get together, we do bold things. When we're in agreement, we do things like free city college. We don't mess around. So why not more middle-income housing? Why not more housing for teachers, first responders, working class folks? All of the different levels of people need more housing in the city. We can build and rehab, and guess what? We're doing it, but we need to do more. So in 2014, I said that we needed a housing plan. I said that to John Ram, who's here at City Planning. His staff is going nuts. They can't get all the permits out. I got to get them to move faster. And so he knew, and all my staff knew, and the public knows, that we announced 30,000 housing units new and rehab by 2020. Well, today, because everybody's working really hard and working together, 17,100 of those units have been completed. 36% affordable, the middle income and low income. We got to keep it going. We got more work to do. We have to build, we have to rehab, and when we work all together, we can get stuff done. And today, we're announcing something that I really am excited about, and that's Supervisor Katy Tang is really initiating Home SF. And Home SF is working with our developer community, with the neighborhoods, with our labor leaders, saying we can do more than just what that zoning is if we provide extra incentives. And this is what working with the board will really be helpful in doing so, because with our Home SF program, over 600 to 800 more units can be built in the city, particularly targeted at middle income and families throughout the whole city. I'm excited when our supervisors come up with creative ideas. I'm sorry, 6,000. Did I said 6,000 units? You know, I'm really get excited when we're both practical and innovative at the same time. Our residents say we have to be both practical and we have to be innovative. And when we work together, both can be accomplished. And they be accomplished with quality housing that all of our unions represent, but also all of our nonprofits help manage, and all of the city manage. We have revolutionized, by the way, our entire public housing portfolio. You will not see dilapidated public housing anymore in San Francisco. You'll see nice housing that's mixed income, and the residents are still the same people, but they got a lot more hope in the city. So I'm excited about working with the board and doing this. Let's get more housing done for everybody, right? Let's have a great Valentine's Day.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mayor Lee. And as he mentioned, today we are announcing a renewed effort around a program called Home SF. And it's designed to provide more housing for middle and working class families here in San Francisco, guaranteeing that new projects will have 30% affordable housing devoted to these working class families, and a requirement that over 40% of these units are at least 2 or 3 bedroom size to serve our families who want to have children. So we will be bringing forth legislation that will be in the Board of Supervisors in the coming month, and we really hope that you will join us. You know, there's a lot of scary things happening at the federal government level where we have been shown that there might be some people who don't want to include all of us in this country. But in San Francisco, we are so different. We embrace everyone. We embrace the diversity. But we really need to walk the talk. We really need to build the housing that is actually inclusive, and we have not done so for generations. So I hope that you'll join me in this effort, and all the people that are around us here today who work so hard in our city, who we want to make sure that they remain housed here in San Francisco. And so with that, I'd like to bring up my partner today on this Valentine's Day, my work partner, Supervisor Ahsha Safai.
That was great. Thank you, Katy. I am your partner for today. Happy Valentine's Day. Again, my name is Supervisor Ahsha Safai. And first, I want to acknowledge the men and women of labor that are here joining us today. Plumbers, Local 38. Laborers, Local 261. Carpenters, Local 22. And the janitors, SCIU, Local 87. And one of the reasons why we have such a broad coalition of folks from labor here today is because, unfortunately, in our city, we've gone to the extreme. And we're becoming a city, a tale of two cities. And the only way that we can stop that is to make dramatic steps in our housing policy. The only way that we can house working people is to make a bold step. And so we're here to say that it's time to step up for working people, it's time to step up for working families, and we need to begin to make them a priority. In my district, prior to the Great Recession, you could still find an affordable home. Today, in the Excelsior and the Outer Mission and Lakeview, homes are going for north of $1 million. In the Sunset, homes are going well north of $1 million. In Bayview Hunters Point, they're approaching $1 million. That is not affordable for working people. And for the longest time, the market took care of itself. But now, it's our chance and our opportunity to make a bold move and make a strong step toward working families. We have over the last decade, we've produced about 23,000 units of low-income housing. And when there was the redevelopment agency, we were able to produce housing for working people. But there is no consistent funding stream for working families. Let me repeat that again. There is no consistent funding stream for working families. So if you're a janitor, if you're a laborer, if you're a plumber, if you're a carpenter, if you're a hotel worker, if you're a nurse, if you're a teacher, there is no housing that is designed for you because we don't have the funding for it. So we need to make some bold steps. So in the coming week or two, we're going to be talking about some very strong initiatives around inclusionary housing. But I stand here today in full support of everything that Supervisor Katy Tang is doing and support of what the mayor is doing, because we need to step up for working and middle-class families. When the teachers are trying to get housing, and even when they have the land for free, they've come across the reality that there's money streams, there's funding for their paraprofessionals, but there's not funding streams for frontline teachers. And when we can't fill those positions, our city is in a crisis. We're in a crisis around housing for working people. And it's an important aspect of what makes our city a strong and healthy city. So the next person I'd like to bring up is a member of Laborers Local 261, and he's going to speak from their perspective, Mr. Josh Arce.
Thank you, Supervisor Safai. And thank you, of course, Supervisor Tang, for bringing this forward, and to the mayor and all of us that are here. We at Laborers Local 261 joined the other members of the Building and Construction Trades Council to create something really special here in San Francisco over the past several years, and that is the most successful local hiring program in the country. And it wouldn't happen without leaders from government, labor, community partners, and housing advocates, but that all breaks down. It all breaks down having a chance for local residents to get a job working in the trades from our disadvantaged communities. It all breaks down when they seek to support their family, start a family, continue to reside, and be a local hire in San Francisco, it all breaks down when you don't have housing. So this is a phenomenal proposal here to have to talk about working family housing, middle income housing, people that are stuck in the middle, which is so many of us, janitors, building trades, everybody coming together to do this is great because like I said, local hiring works when we have what? Housing. So what do we need to build? All right, thank you. Let's pass this law.
Thank you, Mr. Arce. And next, I'll have to say that we can't do this work without the wonderful people at our planning department. As we're trying to solve all of these very difficult challenges, we need really smart people who are on the ground figuring out with us all the details. And so with that, I'd like to bring up Director Ram. But before I do that, I also want to thank the team who's been working with me on Home SF. Kirsten, Paolo, Anne Marie, thank you all so much.
Thank you, Supervisor. Good morning, everyone, and happy Valentine's Day. I'm so proud to be here today to work on this program. As the mayor said, he gave us a charge a couple of years ago to say, let's figure out a way to get more moderate and middle-income housing. Let's increase housing production. So we developed the basis for the Home SF program, and we're really proud to be here today. I think we all agree that families with children are an integral part of what this city is about, and we have to do more to provide housing for them. And middle and moderate income housing is the way to go. It meets many of the city's goals to solve the housing crisis. All new housing units will include affordable to middle working class family housing. 30% of all new housing will require to be permanently affordable, and 40% of the new units in this program are required to include 2 or more bedrooms. The challenges to keep families in San Francisco are great. We know that. We have a lot of work to do. This is an integral part and probably the most significant program we can put together to do that we've worked on in a very long time. It is part, but only part, of a long-term and a multifaceted housing program for the city, a very important role in keeping families in the city. So I really look forward, and I really want to acknowledge the mayor's leadership on this and Supervisor Tang's leadership on this and moving this forward. We're looking forward to working with them to move this program forward and get housing built. Thank you so much.
So thank you all so much for being here. Again, everyone who's been a partner here, there's so many advocates. If you can raise your hand, if you support more housing in San Francisco. Woo! It's so amazing to see all the grassroots support for more housing. And of course, we know, yes, there are neighbors who may be objectionable to more housing in their backyards. But today we say we need to include everybody. And to the middle working class families today on this Valentine's Day, I say to all of you, I forget you not. We are going to build more housing for all of you. So thank you so much for being here today.